Little Victory Sports Cards here, and I have a fun 30 card SGC reveal today. Took them, I would say, about 5 to 10 business days. You know, they received them on the 6th, they graded them on the 13th, and shipped them out on the 16th. So a solid and refreshing as usual, especially considering that an important PSA order of mine, I even mentioned it in my last SGC reveal video, and it's still in the assembly stage. It's no joke. It's been sitting in the assembly stage for well over a month. You know, I might need to call them to see what's up. I feel like all my PSA orders are kind of in a standstill right now. And in order to sustain my business, I need that fresh inventory, you know, the freshly graded slabs flowing in my eBay store regularly. That's why I've been going with SGC lately and their lightning fast turnaround time. I think they've been able to fill that gap left by PSA's slow turnaround time. But I'm not jumping all the way in with them yet. You know, I'm still getting my feet wet, figuring out a strategy and analyzing resale numbers. You know, I'll share my strategy for this order. So I feel that SGC grades newer modern and ultra modern cards easier than PSA. So I sent in newer cards that I felt PSA would give mint 9s and not gem mint 10s, or even PSA 8s. And my thinking is that those mint 9s would be SGC 9.5s, and you know, potentially those PSA 8s might be SGC mint 9s. And I think this would close the gap in the resale differential, because I bet a PSA 9 sells pretty similar to an SGC 9.5. So that's kind of my thinking. But also, half this order is some very cool vintage cards. They're not in good shape. I didn't expect high grades, but they're big names, you know, like Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, Duke Snider, Nolan Ryan, stuff like that. So there's no real strategy to these vintage ones. I feel like SGC grades vintage accurately and similarly to PSA. So, and I also think there's not much of a price difference in resale with vintage between PSA and SGC. Plus, I just like the look of vintage cards in that Tux slab. I think they look incredible in there. So even with the beat up vintage, I still think they look good in the Tux. All right, stop talking. Let's go ahead and let's get started. All right, 30 cards. Let's open that Tux. There they are. Pretty handy. So we got 2 boxes, kind of one big one, and a small one. Whoa. Easy there. All right, let's go ahead and start off. Looks like it's going to be a Gabe Davis. This is a 2020 Luminance, numbered out of 75, and it did get the gem 10. I felt PSA would give this a mint 9. It had just one touch of white, that corner. Other than that, it looked very sharp, but I just had a feeling PSA would give it a 9. So I'm very happy with that grade right there. Next up, we have a good-looking Tom Brady 2021 Select red-blue die cut. The front looked great, centered up. The back had a little surface indent somewhere on the back there. So I figured PSA would give it an 8 or a 9. So I just went ahead and sent it with SGC, and it got the 9. So they did see the little indent, I'm sure. All right, next up, we got a Kyron Williams. He's having a great year for the LA Rams, getting touchdowns left and right. This is Luminance Year 1 signatures. Kind of a sparkle, cool look to this card. It got a 9.5. I thought PSA would grade this one a 9. It had one little kind of surface dimple. It's right there, as you can see. So I just had a feeling they give it a 9. Other than that, it was nice and sharp. 9.5. Next up, we have a Kobe Bryant Winter Stays Hollow Prism. Kind of a cool looking card. Got that color match yellow purple to it. This one I felt PSA would grade a 9. It had a kind of like a refractor printing line through it. So I'm happy with a 9.5 here. Next up, we got a George Brett. This is the 1987 look to it, numbered out of 115. I just thought it was a cool looking card. I figured PSA would grade it a 9 because of the centering. Top to bottom, it is much thicker on the top than the bottom. You can really see it when you turn it horizontal. There you go. And it's numbered out of 115, yeah. 9.5. Next up, we got some vintage. We got a Johnny Unitas. It was graded a 3.5 VG+. If I remember correctly, it didn't have any creases. So I was hoping for a 4. Just because, I mean, look at the corners. They're pretty banged up. But at least it didn't have any creases, right? 3.5. There you go. Next up, we got a Terry Bradshaw rookie card. I had 2 of these. I think my last one got a 1.5 with SGC, and this one got a 1. It was hammered, obviously. Look at all that. But I think this card looks good in the tux, so went ahead and got it graded. It's worth 15 bucks to get graded to me. It's just easier to sell, you know. It's hard for me to sell all these banged up raw vintage, so people know what they're getting. Next up, we got a Earl the Pearl Monroe. Yeah, I was hoping for around a 6 or 7 on this. It's pretty accurate there. I like the look of these 1974 Topps cards. That retro look. We got a Hank Aaron, 1971. This one wasn't that bad, other than the centering. It's pretty much, look at that. Miscut, OC, whatever you want to call it. It's not good, and that's why I got a 2. But I just like the look of the card. And got the 2. Next up, we got a Harmon Killebrew, 1972. Look at that style to it. Very 70s. It got a 4.5. It didn't have any creases. My hope was around a 5. You can see the corners, a lot of wear there. So probably pretty accurate. And see top to bottom. Looks off center too. So next up, we got a Johnny Bench, 1975 Topps. Got a 5.5. Yeah, I was thinking around 5 or 6 on this one. Accurately graded. So I noticed on this order, I got hammered, not necessarily on the vintage or the modern and stuff, or the ultra modern, but mainly the 1980s and 1990s cards. This Griffey was pretty clean. It was packed fresh. It just off center top to bottom a little bit, but I think it was, you know, 65-35. The back looked pretty good. You know, I think this is a complete undergrade. I was hoping just for a mint 9. So got hammered on them. I'm gonna put the hammered ones over here. Here's 1984 Don Mattingly. Again, I thought this one was probably closer to a mint 9, so I feel a little bit undergraded on this one as well. It was a nice looking card. It was clean. Not too much going on with it. It was a solid 9 copy. Same with this one too. 1980s, 1990s. This is the Bo Jackson. I mean, look at it. I figured it would get at least an 8 or better. I was hoping for like an 8.5. Corners are sharp. It just has some normal kind of print defects. You can see a little bit right there, but it wasn't that bad. It wasn't a 7.5. A little bit edge wear, but it's pretty common too. Hammered file. Another hammered pile. This Dirk, I think, was a solid 8. It's off-centered, yes, left to right, but not much else. Surface is pretty good. A few very minor surface scratches. I think this is an 8 all day. So I think those are the cards I got hammered on. I'm not sure why. They just didn't like the 80s and 90s. But back on track. This is the Dwight Howard. I like it. The numbering, 100 out of 100. It's the exclusives Upper Deck rookie, 2004. This one I felt like PSA would give an 8. It had some white on the corners. Very common with this set. I mean, look at all the black. It's easy to chip and everything. But still a nice copy. So I was happy with the 9 there. We got some more vintage. Nolan Ryan, 1972 tops. Actually, no creases, believe it or not. I thought that would help me out with the grades on the vintage, but never mind. This one has a crease. Yeah, it's a 2. Cool card, though. Next up, we got a Pete Rose, 1971 tops. Obviously, corners are hammered, but it looks pretty good in the graded holder. No creases on this one. No, never mind. I did it again. Creases right there. I guess at the time I felt like they were still worth grading. Willie Mays, 1958 tops. I think this one just had a little bit of a minor paper loss on the back, if I remember correctly. Yeah, over here. I think that's what really brought it down, but it's still a cool card. I like it a lot. You got it too. Willie Mays. Here's the Duke Schneider, the same year, 58 tops. Big crease here, got a 3. So SGC are grading all of these vintage very accurately. We got a modern card, 2016 Michael Thomas. I thought he would kind of have a resurgent year if he stayed healthy. He is staying healthy, but he's not, you know, he's not having the impact I had hoped for. This one got a 10 auto grade and a 10 card grade. This one did look pretty good. I felt like it would have got PSA 10 potential too, so I just want to throw it in here. Here's Nolan Ryan, 1976 tops. Pre-grade was a 5 or a 6. I think accurate grade there. Off center a little bit, and the corners are a little worn. All right, next up we got the Hank Aaron. I wasn't quite sure. The card wasn't in that bad of shape. It's a 73 tops. Obviously off centered, but it had that printing defect. It's right across it. I wasn't sure how they grade it. I just wanted to know, and they gave it a 2, so they really knocked it. So not a good grade on that one, so we just have one more little box. Here we go. Oh. Okay. I see some Tua on the back. What a year he's having. All right, looks like we got some more kind of ultra modern. We got Steph Curry, 2021. This is the Ice Prism. Looks like SGC puts the top and bottom on the stack in sleeves. This one I felt PSA would grade a 9, and SGC did too. It had a surface dimple right there, and I think kind of like a printing line right here. So accurate grade there. Nice shine to that card. 9.5. Next up, we got a Justin Verlander, 2005. It's his rookie year from Donruss Studio. The front was pristine, 10. The back is where you're going to get some corner wear. And I felt like that was enough where PSA would probably bring it to an 8. So I never graded it with them. But SGC liked it. They didn't mind it. Little corner wear on the back. Got a 9.5. Next up, we have a cool-looking Freddie Freeman card. Champagne Gold Speckle Refractor, numbered out of 50, out of 2022 Topps Chrome. There it is right here. It had a little bit of surface marks to the front, over through here. I felt like PSA would have given it a 9. So I was kind of hoping for an SGC 9.5, but got the 9 too. Next up, we got a Dwight Howard 2007 Topps Chrome. I've been buying a lot of Topps Chrome refractors from basketball, from mainly I'd say 2003 to the last year they produced them, 2009. Trying to buy the gold ones when I can. I'm just getting ready for when Fanatics Topps starts making them again for basketball. I'm excited. This one got a 9. The Dwight Howard, it's numbered out of 99, actually. I felt like PSA would have given this an 8. It had enough light, very light surface scratches. So I am happy and pleasantly surprised with a 9 on that. Next up, we got a Blue Shimmer Prism Jokic out of 2021 Select. This one had a few little dimples on the back, and a few light surface scratches on the front. I felt like PSA would have given it an 8 or a 9, so I think accurate there. Next up, we got another 10. That's a nice one. And we're at 20. I know he's not having a good year, but Juju Smith-Schuster, he had a good year for the Chiefs last year. This is the red zone in his USC uni. Numbered out of 20. This one had a very faint little printing dimple on the back. But I thought it had a chance at a PSA 10. But I just shipped it with this order, and I got the 10. Nice looking card, centered up. It's good for a USC fan out there. Couple cards left. We got DK Metcalf. Look at the centering on that. 50-50. This is the yellow press proof. I like the way that yellow pops with the black. Got a 9.5. I felt PSA would have given this a 9. It had like a little, I think, a surface mark somewhere. So I'm happy with the 9.5 there. And we're going to end with the Tua Select Prism. This is number 45. This one looked pretty good. It was centered up. I think maybe it had a touch of white on these bottom corners, which I felt PSA would hammer. So I feel like it would have got a PSA 9. So, and I got the 9.5, so I'm happy I graded it with that. Looks good. So there you go. There's my SGC reveal. I did what I usually do with PSA. I did 2 orders. I broke it up with SGC just kind of to test it out. So I have another 30 card order that already has been graded and shipped. The grades were even better than these ones. So I'm kind of happy I split it up. I got an even better grader at, or nicer grader at SGC. So you should see that reveal early next week. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you, as always, for watching.